Okay, this is lecture 4. So now we're looking at make or buy with limiting factors. So there's a sort of step-by-step approach, but we'll discuss the process, and it's pretty straightforward. Now, what we have is a scenario where we don't have enough of a certain resource. So the question is, we want to use as much as possible the resource we have. We want to use the one that's saving us the most, so to speak, in-house first. And a scenario where it's probably we might be having a little bit of a saving with a resource, but it's not the best. So the one we want to make the best use. So the least use is what we would end up buying. The one that's causing us the least amount of saving is if you like, the one we will then, or the one that's causing us no saving, of course, is the one we would buy from outside. But let's walk through it and you'll see where I'm going. So just go with it step by step. The focus, first of all, is on the scarce resource. So we want to be clear. What's the resource that's scarce? It's either labor or material or machine hours. So we want to be clear, first of all, on what's the scarce resource. Then when we're clear on that, we want to be clear on what is the saving per unit on each of those products, if you like. So the focus is, well, how much are we actually saving by making it in-house? And then, but because we have a scarce resource, we can't just take the raw figure. We sort of have to say, well, what's the saving per scarce resource? And the one that's giving us the greatest savings, we make in-house. And the one that's giving us the least savings, we buy from outside. So you can see what I said there. Divide these savings by the amount of scarce resource, then rank the products, and then you can allocate the scarce resource to the products, and any products with either unsatisfied demand can be bought from the external source. So here's a nice little example. We have a company makes 4 components, L, N, and P. It uses the same sort of machine, and then we have some information about the purchase price from the outside supplier as well. So this is a scenario here. This is the production cost. You have direct materials, you have direct labor, you have variable overheads, and then you have fixed overheads. And that's the total over there. And this is what you can buy this thing from outside suppliers. And this is the number of machine hours per unit. So you can always start to suspect that probably this is the scarce resource that we're dealing with. Now, don't be fooled by this figure here. We're not interested in fixed overheads. We're not interested in these figures at all. Remember, we're very much in the short term. We're only interested in these top figures here of variable cost, in marginal cost world. So I need to adjust to find out what these figures actually are. So either I just take this away from it, take these away from the total cost figure and over. Then I can compare those figures with this purchase price from the outside supplier. And I believe that's what I do. Oh, so I told you that the manufacturing requirement shows the demand is 1,500 for each of these components, and the maximum you're restricted to 24,000 machine hours. So this is the external purchase price, 57. I worked out the variable costs, 45, 40, 30, and 20. If we go back quickly, we can see there, very quickly, this was 55. By the time I take that out, it becomes 45. By the time I take 46 minus 6 is 40, 34 minus 4, 23 minus 3. So going forward, you can see here, this is the scenario, the variable costs, if you like, to make the product. So what do we have here? We have the external, we have the variable cost, and thus the saving on each of these, on the process of making each of these items. So you have 57 minus 45. So we save, by making this product in-house, we save 12 pounds. By making this product in-house, we save 15. We save 24, and we save 30. So just on the face of it, if they all took the same hour, if it was all 1 hour to make a unit, then yeah, of course, we would make P because we save 30 pounds by making it in-house. Then we would make N, then we would make, N, and then M, and then L. And we would be done. We could just use the raw figures. but we can't use the raw money figures because these things take different hours to make. So we need to almost find out what the true cost of saving is. So these are your saving figures I brought forth on the previous slide. I've told you it takes 3 hours, if you like, to make each of these. And so therefore the saving per unit is this. Divide the total saving by the number of hours it takes to make the unit, and therefore you arrive at these figures. So these are the true savings per unit, which means that we have an interesting scenario here. It's no longer going from P being the best, but M. So you make the most savings with M, and then with P, and then with L, and then with M. So my next slide shows a ranking. This is the rank that I've applied to this. So I make N in-house first, then P in-house, then L, and then M. And if I needed to buy any from outside, I would probably buy, end up having to buy some M, some resource for M, because it makes the least, it saves the least. Okay, so what have I said? Make all N's, make all P's, make L's, and this leaves you 4,500 to make product M, if you like. So yeah, I think that's kind of how we look at this. So for M, I only have 4,500 hours left, and I need 5 hours to make a unit, and so I can only make 900 units of M. And again, because I can only make 900 units, and I need the demand for it is 1,500, then I'd end up buying, if you like, the 600 units externally. Okay, very good. Quickly, some other little issues. Yes, it's so easy to always talk about buying things in, but there are a few other issues in terms of quality. Can it get to you on time? Price stability. Can you trust the external supplier? And you should just be sort of comfortable writing about these. Can you get the quantity required? Quantity and quality, I really think. Specialist skills, of course, if you're making this thing in-house, do you have the specialist skills, or is it actually cheaper? Because the question is, some companies do this and that's all they do, like payroll, they have specialists in it. It might just make sense to let them do it. Or the reverse, if you're making it in-house and you're the specialist, can you really find someone to do it for you as well as you can? Again, by you getting someone else to do it, then you have use of your resource to do other things. In terms of you now outsourcing, what's going to happen to your own internal costs of redundancy and work morale. So, there are a couple of more sort of bigger issues, moral issues to think about. Legal issues, loss of information, how will customers react to know that their product is now being made abroad, or just really, is it a locally made product, and are you leaving? It could be even as down to locality, or down to cities, and that people want to know that you are employing the local workforce, that sort of thing. So some of the issues there. These are just some general advantages and disadvantages of outsourcing. You can consider, core competencies, possibly greater flexibility, things like that. Of course, again, you might choose the wrong supplier and you might have lead time. So the question is that the more you end up doing things, outsourcing your tasks, you have less control, if you like, over the process. And you probably will have to be paying more in terms of overhead, in terms of quality inspections, just to make sure and building a stronger relationship with the external supplier. Okay, great stuff. So this is on make or buy, and we will, in the next video, look at the next discussion on shutdown. Okay, see you then.